Hello, my name is Abe, and welcome to a brand new series, a Let's Look At, where I play video games in which I have received codes for, or I have maybe bought the game myself. This is Robothorium. This is a game that I received a key for from the developer through Keymailer, and they said, hey, we saw that you were playing Slay the Spire, and we think that you will love our game. Spoilers, this has nothing to do with Slay the Spire. I don't know why they said that if I like Slay the Spire, I would enjoy this game. Not to say I did or did not enjoy the game, but this is nothing like Slay the Spire. It's completely different. If anything, I would say that this is like a weird hybrid between a JRPG, Darkest Dungeon, FTL. You have some hints of like the strategy management layer from XCOM, and we're just going to jump into it. I'm going to go through the first tutorial mission. I'm going to show you the gameplay and explain a few of the mechanics and things like that, and then we'll go through the second mission, and I will try my best to talk about what I like and don't like about the game. New game. Different difficulties. You can start on easy, medium, and hard. We're going to start on medium, and it opens up with a little cutscene here where it explains the plot in about 80 words or less. The TLDR is that this is sci-fi trope plot number 37 Alpha Beta Gamma. Humans have given robots artificial intelligence, and the robots are like, hey, we actually want rights and stuff. So that's where you come in. You are a AI, I guess, that is programmed for a single purpose, offering a future to robots. What that means is, I guess, left up to the player through their own play, but basically it is, hey, you get to actually control the robots. Like, the way they explain it is that, I guess, you are controlling them to fulfill some greater purpose, which is kind of ironic, because if the robots are like, we want rights, and then you're an AI controlling other robots, maybe against their will, that kind of sounds like a little bit like you're an asshole. But anyways, I'm gonna pick these three robots because I know what their abilities are. Of course you have to pick the robot that carries around a pair of giant drums, and he uses them as his primary attack. I mean, come on. And then you have the... what is it? It's not the Archon. Well, I guess from XCOM 2 it's the Archon. But in XCOM 1 it was the Floater. That's what you look like. And then you've got giant tank with a shield here. And then you've got sexy ladybot, who is actually a pretty nice robot to have, but we're just gonna use these three to start with. Right, and then you have a map. Darkest Dungeon, you can click on the rooms to teleport to them, so you don't have to walk all the way through the different hallways. We have 3 units. These are our 3 units. We have a danger level. As the danger level goes up, right now it's on 0. You have slightly more penalties in the floor, or on the map? Floor? Level. Let's call it a level, because really every floor is a self-contained level, and then you get kicked back out to the main screen. You have equipment. We have nothing in our inventory. We can reposition our team if we want, so we can have them on the same line or different lines. Every robot has 1 primary ability, 3 kind of secondary abilities that you can swap between, so you can choose 3 of 6 to be on your hotbar, and then you have a super ability which you'll get, I assume, later in the game. You've got a bunch of different stats. Shields, structure, HP, resistance, regeneration of your shields, power for attack power and healing power, critical hit chances, and then speed, which determines the actual play order. And we have our 3 robots. Come on, back, no, back, X, back, thank you. I think the UI could definitely use a little bit of work in the game, but that's beyond the point. And this is kind of where the FTL comparison from earlier came into play. In a game like FTL, you have a lot of plot and a lot of personality of the universe being exposed through these text events, and sometimes it's a bit of a wall of text that you have to read. Not so in this game. In this game, it's open. It's opened, and you get an item. So we got a new item from opening the chest. We can take a look at it. It is a arm cannon that is really good, but makes the robot a little bit slower. And if we look in the bottom right corner here, you can see these purple and yellow icons. most items in the game can be equipped to more than one different type of a robot. So our Zerker can equip this item, but the Riot, who's a blue icon, and Song, who is a brown icon, cannot use this arm cannon. So it's gonna go on this guy, because it's a nice big bonus to his power, and so we might as well just, you know, put that on him. We have another action here. Hack! We hacked the camera. I do wish that there was a little bit more of a, I don't know, feedback when you do these actions, because when you just open a box or hack a camera, it's just, it kind of just gives you a success or a failure. But again, I'll save the kind of criticism stuff for the second level. For the first level, it's all just going to be the gameplay. So here we have a surveillance drone. We can destroy it, we can hack it, we can deactivate it. I imagine if we destroy it, maybe that might penalize us somehow, like, you know, some AI faction will be like, you destroyed a poor defenseless surveillance drone, shame on you. And maybe if we hack it, we can, I don't know, see a little bit of the level or something. Or maybe if we deactivate it, it'll be the most neutral option because we're not really, you know, destroying it or subverting it. We're just getting it out of our way temporarily and it can be fixed later. But let's hack it. See if we succeed or fail. We failed. And it just increased the danger level by 15 points, which doesn't really matter that much until we hit to 30. And here's where the JRPG element comes in, because this is what is it called? Turn order attack game here. We go first, and then this guy down here in the bottom right corner goes, and then we have 2 units that move, and then they have 2 units that move. So you can see the exact turn order up here, which is nice. And we have, you know, our units on the left, enemy units on the right. We have our abilities at the bottom. The core mechanic of the combat is as such. All of our abilities use this, you can see the 20%, I can't actually mouse over it, 20% battery icon. That is our heat, or our overload meter. That's basically mana. Every ability that you use that's a strong ability uses some of your overload, not overlord, that's a different game entirely. These abilities are usually stronger than your base ability, which usually reduces your overload. So you have a few turns where you can be really aggressive and do a lot of extra damage, or have, you know, extra status effects. Like this shot here, Plasmic Wave. It bounces if the enemy is slower than I am. And right now my speed is 130, so if the enemy is slower, we can actually do 250 damage with 1 shot, but it will cost us 20 heat. So we, you know, spend a couple of turns using this attack, then we have to spend a couple of turns using this attack to bring our heat down, otherwise we will be stunned if we hit 100. The enemies have the same principle. You can heat them up, their abilities will occasionally use heat and do a, you know, different action that's not just shoot. And you can kind of use that to your advantage a little bit. The enemy is dumb. They will overheat themselves. They will not target your, you know, 1 unit over and over and over again unless you get a bad RNG roll. But right now it's our purple bot turn, so we're just going to use probably one of our best attacks, which is just a beam, kind of an AoE line beam that will just hit them both, reduce their resistances. Then it's going to be our Songbot turn. So this is an interesting robot that really plays off of heat, the overload. All of his actions by default play off of the overload. We can regenerate ally shields with overload. We can do damage to the enemy based off of their overload. We can increase the enemy overload, and we can also reduce our own allies' overload. So for instance, if I, say, reduce the purple bot's overload, it gives him a new effect, a positive effect called Cooling, which reduces it by 12% per turn. So he can use his active ability, his powerful abilities, a little bit longer during this fight. And now it's our Shieldbot's turn. He's just going to do a body slam and try to stun some enemies. He failed. So every enemy and every allied robot has a red bar and a blue bar. The red bar is your health, the blue bar is your shield, which automatically regenerates every turn of combat. It's kind of nice, because as long as the enemy is spreading out their damage, you can just not care that they're even hitting you, because any damage done to your shield is basically just free damage. It doesn't matter at all. Let's bounce a shot. His speed is not lower than mine? No, it's totally lower than that. How come it didn't bounce? Oh, I used the wrong ability. That's okay. We made him really weak then in that case. He is surprised. His speed was reduced by 50. Oh, we're definitely faster than him then. All right, Songbot. Use your Digital Bolero, which is a nice little ability that deals damage based off of the heat of the enemy. So you can see that they have 25 heat. It's also up in the top right corner. So that means that this will do 75 damage to both of these enemies. And 100 to him because we crit. Whose turn is it? Blue bot. Shield bot. Shield bot, do another body slam. Try to stun him. There you go, you stunned them both. That's really good. So, you know, when their turn starts, they get a little bit of shield back. You know, they got 8 points of shield, I think. When our turn starts, we get... how much? 23. We get 23 shields on Purple Bot every turn. So, you know, I guess ideally what you want to do in these combats is you want to, you know, kill a couple of enemies, leave one dude, and then just recover your heat and your shield at the end of combat, which kind of is what I am thinking of when I am making the comparison to a game like Darkest Dungeon, because in Darkest Dungeon, when there's only like one enemy remaining on a combat, usually what you want to do is spend that time healing or recovering stress or something like that, something that gives you a little bit more of a permanent recovery from the fight, and that kind of seems like the same thing that we want to do here. Now that there's only one dude left, and we have plenty of shields, we're not in any danger, we're just going to buff ourselves, try to finish the combat with 0 heat and max shields, and then that'll be the end of our first encounter here. The buffs that we get, by the way, the 4 turns of cooling and the 2 turns of reduced power, that stays with you through to the next encounter. On this encounter, you know, obviously the bonuses are going to stay here, but on the next encounter, if we have, you know, 5 turns of cooling when we walk in, that's going to be with us. So we definitely want to try and make sure that we have everyone kind of buffed up as much as possible before we finish this off. So there we go. Everyone's got cooling. He recovered a little bit of shields, and now he's dead. Yay, we murdered a robot. Wait a minute. Are we the good guys or the bad guys? We get some rewards. Some of those were equipment, so we can actually go in here and see, oh, hey, we get, well, hold on. Nope. Oh, I see. We got equipment, but no one can use it. Fine. You can get up to 5 robots that will follow you around, but that's gonna be in a while. Alright, deactivate the turret. Success, trap dodged, and that's it. We don't get anything out of that, I guess, but we didn't get hit by the trap, I suppose. Alright, so we walk into the next combat. We have cooling applied to ourselves already. We're at full health. Well, this guy is 4 down, but his turn's not too far away. And it's the exact same combat that we just had, so we're just gonna do the exact same thing. We're going to hit him with some AoE, bounce some shots between them, raise their heat, hit him with Drum Bot, who's gonna do a lot of damage to them. So now I'm spending my turn using his ability to increase the heat of these enemies. And what do we have here? Yeah, AoE stun. We got one of them. As long as you can keep them from shooting you too much, shooting one particular robot too much, you can usually just, you know, let your shields passively regenerate, and you usually won't take too much damage. Let's make you weak. Or give him a vulnerability, I suppose, so maybe we can actually kill him. Our Drum Bot also has an ability to increase the shields of allies based off of his heat. So right now his heat is 28, which means we'll have a, what is that, 56 shields recovered on everyone. I think we should do that on our Purple Bot, because he might need it. And we're just gonna keep stomping on these guys, try to get one kill. Good. We want them to spread out their damage, because then each of our units will give, you know, extra shield recharge to themselves, which means that hopefully we just stay at full shields forever. Kill him. We're using, you know, we don't have the, actually we do have some of the buffs from the previous combat still. Cooling we still have, so it's actually kind of nice because you have 1 HP. I have seen the game glitch out sometimes and an enemy will be alive on 0, but it seems like enemies often have 1 HP and they're still alive, and I don't understand why. You have like an ability that keeps you alive? I don't think so, but it seems like every 3 enemies, one of them has 1 HP when they're almost dead. It's kind of annoying. Anyways, let's just heal. Keep our shields up, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, guys. And I suppose we might as well, yeah, go for the AoE. Every once in a while, a robot will give a little quip, but we don't really know too much about the personalities of these robots, because that's the only time they talk. I kind of wish that you could actually get a little bit more kind of plot or story or personalization from these robot men. You know what, Songbot? Give us the cooling. We gotta get our cooling down. Until we can actually, you know, fully kill these guys. We're gonna be spending our heat, and then when there's only the one dude remaining, then we're gonna really slam him. And in fact, if I overheat him, he should overheat on his next turn, and he'll be stunned, so we should be able to kill him pretty easily now. Sometimes it is hard to punch through the enemy shields if they keep regenerating over and over again, but I think we got him now. And oh no, he shot my dude who doesn't matter. I mean, he matters, but the fact that it hit him in the shields doesn't matter at all. And you're out! Now get out of the way. Some of the puns that they say, it's like, how does a robot know the puns? Or how does a robot, how does he know that that's a good thing to say or a funny thing to say? I don't know. I kind of wish that there weren't any quips, honestly. But hey, that's just me. So we're killing this fool. Everyone has, I think, cooling applied to them. As long as Songbot still has a turn, you know, I'm just gonna keep the buff active for as long as possible because we have full shields now. One enemy can't even hurt us, much less kill us. You know, he would have to punch through our shields, which he can't do, and he's just spending his time, you know, constantly reapplying the same buff because the enemy is dumb. The enemy in this game is very dumb, and I think it's on purpose because if it wasn't, they would just focus one of your units down until they were dead. So it's probably a good thing that the enemy is dumb. Now, what else did we get? Any loot? We got some loot. Finally, we have some cuffs. They give him a small benefit. I think that's the only thing that we picked up that we can actually use. We have a talent point. Hey, all of our robots leveled up. What does that mean? Well, we can upgrade the skills. And as far as I know, that's the only thing that you can upgrade. No, I guess you can upgrade damage, speed, power, etc., etc., etc. And then you can just upgrade other things, and then your just upgrade other things. But on the outside of the ring here are your 3 unlocked secondary skills and your 3 locked secondary skills. So you can upgrade these however you see fit. So for example, if we wanted to make loaded shot better, we could just go to loaded shot, which is here, and say, hey, if you use it on a slower target, it also grants a 50 or 100% chance to apply enhanced speed on the launcher. So it makes you faster, and it gives a weakness to the enemy. What about inhibitor, the AoE that we keep using? Well, it also has a chance to apply reduced regeneration to the enemy, which I think is actually really nice, because if that's a good opener to hit them with damage, weaken them, and give them less regen so it's easier to kill them. Okay, how about our shield bot? Well, I like the stunning ability, which is this one. Additional chance to apply stun. Why not? That seems like it's just like a straight positive upgrade. Now how about our drum bot? I love drum bot just because he's a weird drum bot. So if we do the ability that increases the overload of all enemies, we can also grant it a reduction of enemy crit chances. What is this one? We can reduce the power of enemies, so reduce their ability to actually deal damage. Or if we repair our allies, we can also give our allies better criticals. Well, I guess we'll do, I don't know, reduced critical hits on enemies. Why not? Okay, we'll go back and finish off this first level here, which is just leave. So we will just leave. We get loot! We gotta do some more looting, or loot management. There's a lot of loot management in this game, and I guess, you know, we should just, you know, really quickly just, you know, slap some stuff on these guys, and sure, I'll give them this, and then we'll go back to the mission. We can go to the hangar. I guess we can buy robots if there's any available. We can heal ourselves if we're wounded, because the red HP does not regenerate. You have to come back here and repair it yourself. And we can start a new mission and get some actual more plot stuff. So there's this guy, John, who is I guess, a pacifist. And then you've got Halt, who is going to be a more aggressive, violent robot. Not rebel, but the faction. He's a robot faction guy. He's like, we should be peaceful with our humans and learn to coexist. We should destroy them because they are weak and puny and they will never give us our freedom if we kneel before them. And I guess the game is going to want you to kind of probably decide between the two of them. And we have a mission here. I kind of skipped it a little bit too quickly, but honestly, and I guess this is where I will start kind of going into some of the criticisms of the game. Honestly, it doesn't really matter because every room is exactly the same. The missions usually are pretty much the same. It is just explore, fight things, hack cameras, hit the button, and then wait like 4 seconds for it to process. Yep, thank you. Yep, thank you. The game does seem to kind of have a little bit of a lag when you click on UI buttons, but I imagine that is something that is maybe not fully intentional. Hey, we got a patroller. We can neutralize, intimidate, or discuss. Let's discuss. Success. Reputation has gone up by 20. You guys aren't as wild as they said you were. Wow, you guys are all right. Yes, but we are kind of invading your facility. You should probably not stick around if you don't want to die. I don't know why all of my robots are murderous, but they're pretty murderous. Enemies affected by corrosion, which I think is just DOT. And a fight, oh no! Cyber dogs. I guess these guys are cyborgs or something? I don't know. Anyways, more combat. I guess because it's a new level, all of our buffs have kind of cleared out, but we're just going to do things the same that we've done them all the time. Hit the enemies, make sure that they don't break through our shields, try to kill them either all at the same time or just with kind of AoE abilities of some sort. Give them stun. Bam! Didn't work. Hit him. Bam! Hit him! Hit him! Actually, this kills most of them. So I kind of don't want to do that, actually. You know, I want to reduce my overload now that I can actually get the killing blow with my standard shots. But yeah, this game, I mean, it's fully functional. Seems like it has been well designed from that standpoint. Again, I haven't really noticed bugs or anything like that. But I guess if I try to put on my game journalist hat here for a moment, the main gameplay loop of the game doesn't necessarily feel all that interesting. You know, you get into combat, you kill some enemies. You know, there's not a lot of, you know, animations playing. It's mostly just kind of like keep alive animations like Drummer Boy here, and then boom, boom, boom. There's not even like, you know, super fancy particle effects. It's just like you dealt damage. There's not a lot of feedback, I guess, from the game when you're using abilities. It's not as visceral as you would maybe like it to be, because you've got giant death robots and a drum bot, and you know, they're just shooting, you know, blue balls at people. But But then you fight enemies, you get loot, you have to go back here to your loot screen, and then you have to kind of try to figure out the loot mechanics. Like, oh, what pieces of equipment can go on what robot. So you're just like constantly clicking to the menus, looking at the inventory, figuring out where things goes. Like, this is easy because this is something that only he can equip. But like this guy, well, he has something that does more damage and gives him more crit, and has a green arrow next to it, but it's worse in the power department. And does that mean it's better or worse? If I give him this gun, can I give this gun to someone else? You gotta kind of like try to figure out where the loot goes on people, which is actually kind of honestly a bit annoying. Hey, we can give him a broken flute. I wish that the kind of inventory management was a little bit easier, because you can't like compare that easily to what you already have. Like, how am I comparing this green up arrow item to what I currently have? Well, I guess, I gotta click it, and then I mouse over here, and then I guess I can do this. But it has 1 point of less power, but then it has a different stat in the second category. So then I have to think, okay, well that's speed, and the gun that's selected here is crit, and 2.2 crit is equivalent to 0.9 actual percentage chance of crit. And there's a lot of just loot mechanics and inventory management that I think could be a lot better here. Just to kind of make it simpler and a little bit faster to kind of just like not necessarily auto equip, but make it simpler to kind of determine, hey, just equip this because this is better for what I want you to be. I kind of find that loot management stuff like this can be a little bit tedious, and when you have 5 robots and when some piece of equipment can be shared between multiple robots, it starts to get a little bit complex as to how you're going to manage it. Yes, I know, stuff to do. People to things, people to kill. We have a free robot. We get a band-owned robot. We can get a free 4th robot, a free friend, Warbot. We got a Warbot. He's got power and crit bonuses, and he's a pretty standard robot in all categories. Hey, you know what? I like it. What I don't like, though, is that I have to now manage another unit. I guess we'll put our heal bot in the back, and I'll just give him a point in something. It's not gonna matter. I'm only gonna play this one mission anyways. So now we have 4 friendly units, which means that if we get into a fight, we're gonna fight 4 enemy units. All it took was a simple revolt to set things off. I guess they're giving us world plot from the cutscenes here, if we bothered to necessarily read them. Jeklov and Break Tech have joined forces to create us, and now they want to destroy us. You can't do that. We have our right to live. Well, maybe you do, buddy, but you don't gotta be asses about it. But yeah, so what was I saying earlier? The general gameplay loop, this doesn't seem super satisfying to me. The fights all seem to basically revolve around the same thing, which is just kill one enemy at a time in order to take as little damage as possible. Which I guess that's the same gameplay loop from a lot of games, but I guess I'm not a JRPG player, and this is really basically a JRPG game. You have mana, which is essentially your overload mechanic. You only can use it a certain number of times until you can charge it up again. There's no items, there's no, Phoenix Downs or anything like that, no ethers, but as long as you just manage everything and you end each combat with full buffs, what does it matter? Group of enemies disappears. This is gonna be the simplest second mission ever. Reassure. Oh no! Danger level plus 15. Intoxicate. Oh no! Danger level plus 20. Reset. Hey, danger level minus 30. Everything just kind of evens out here, What are we doing? Where are we going? Is there a map? There's a map. Kind of got lost for a second there. And now we have a group of enemies with 4 people in them. Oh. Why did you get hit? Oh right, all enemies start with corrosion because of that thing we did like 16 minutes ago. Yeah, I mean, okay, what do you actually do? Your shot bounces, you do a lot of damage to one enemy, or you give better criticals to allies. Do a lot of damage to one dude. Following that advice that we should probably try to just like take one person out at a time in order to keep ourselves from taking a lot of damage ourselves. That seems like a pretty smart plan, I think. And you know what? Drumbot, go to town. Go to town with your drumming, drummer boy. Yeah, like, let's see. The animations do feel a little bit kind of stiff and slow. I mean, it is a indie game, you know, they don't have a ton of resources to put into making custom animations for, you know, freaking everything in the game. The combat seems relatively simple because, you know, you're just killing an enemy one at a time. I haven't really gotten any boss encounters yet. I haven't really played that much into the game, though I imagine that might be something that actually does happen. Yeah. Probably start reduce the cooling on all of our guys, or reduce the heat on our guys by giving them cooling. Like these guys in the back, I don't care, because once I kill your friend, I'm just coming after you. I don't know what I would like to see from the game. More variety, more personality from the events themselves and from just like, I guess like the layout. Every room basically looks exactly the same. All of the events are not meaningless, but it doesn't really matter what you pick because you either get a positive or negative outcome, and usually you just take whatever's, you know, the highest choice. And you know, you don't have to hack all the cameras, you can just leave them if you really wanted to. You don't really get anything super positive out of it, you know, you're not gaining reputation, although I think you can gain reputation from some of the encounters. Stun him! You failed. Wow. Freaking Drumbot. OP as hell. Just murdered those two guys at basically full HP. And then we get another, what I consider to be unfun gameplay loop of, oh, we killed some enemies, now to go handle all the loot that we picked up. There's no like, you know, auto-equip button or something like, hey, if something is better in all categories, auto-equip it. No, we have to go here ourselves, make sure we're looking at everybody, being like, okay, everything good? Everything good? Okay. I would love it if that was handled automatically somehow. Or if I could at least, you know, have an easier way of comparing equipment. Because either, I'm the type of person who will either min-max to the extreme, or I don't care and I just want it done for me. And both of those options are walled off to me. I can't do things quickly and I can't take my time because it takes too much time to really kind of compare all of the equipment and be like, okay, this is what I want because this is better for you in this particular situation. So we got John here being like, let them live and leave and, you know, we'll gain reputation with them. No, kill them! You'll gain reputation with us. And have mercy, we're just doing our job. Last time I spared the engineers because, you know, I wasn't a murderer. I guess now I am the murderer, so let's kill the engineers and... Oh, they're gone. That was it. And yeah, we have reputation that has been handed out. Now is the time for unity. We leveled up again, and we got even more loot. So now that we got even more loot, we gotta go back over here. We gotta say, okay, what's going on here? Well, this is, it's misleading because it's got the green arrows, but maybe I want shield icon, which is, okay, hold on, it's resistance reduced damage taken by 12.3% as opposed to heart square icon, which is structural integrity, even though it's got the green arrow next to it. You know, maybe on this guy I want structural integrity, shields and power instead of, no, where is it? This one, which is power, resistance, and regeneration. Oh my god. Like, it takes so long to actually like determine what all of the stats are on the items. It's a pain in the butt. I wish there was an easier way of just like comparing loot that can fit here, comparing loot that can fit here, or just like press a button and it just automatically equips whatever is the highest tier loot you have. Because when you consider that, you know, multiple pieces of loot can fit on multiple robots, and, you know, oh, this box here, this can fit on this guy or this guy, but they both have a top. Okay, well, now you got to compare, oh, well, this top does this top does this top does this. The most effective way of putting this item on each one of these guys is in this particular order. It's hard to do. It's annoying. I don't know why. I find it super annoying that they don't give you an easy way of comparing loot icons and stuff like that, but I do. You have a black market, by the way. You can buy stuff. I have 500 R coins. I don't really know what else you use the money for, but I guess you just use it for buying loot. I guess there's a workshop that we're going to get access to later, which I haven't gotten that far into the game yet. It's probably after the next mission. Maybe you can build stuff or make stuff or upgrade your robots or something like that. I don't know. But in any case, you know, that's pretty much Robothorium here. You can choose your missions. We could do a level 2 mission or a level 3 mission, and we can just continue to gain and lose reputation with people. You can take a look at the individual factions. You've got peace bots, you've got fight bots, you've got cyber bots, you've got medical bots, and you've got pimp bots. Or I don't know who this guy is, but I love that he's just the pimp. The chip pimp. He looks awesome. I want to meet this guy, like IRL. But, you know, different factions give you different things. I think that's basically about it. You know, I covered showed you the gameplay. So I guess, okay, overall, my thoughts on the game. It's a game. It seems well designed. It seems like the mechanics are there. The mechanics work. There doesn't seem to be many bugs in the game. I haven't ran into anything except for, again, some enemies sometimes have 0 HP when they die, or when they don't die, they stay alive, which can be awkward if you, like, count the damage that you're supposed to be doing, and it's like, this will kill him exactly, and then he stays alive at 0 HP, and you're like, oh, that's not good. But I think that the primary gameplay loop just isn't that satisfying for me, because the action itself is a little stale and dull. You know, it's not like Michael Bay explosions everywhere, but it's just like really kind of stiff animations that you can tell is kind of just like, you know, someone made the art for the robots, and then someone just kind of like made a skeleton for it, and now it's just kind of like animated a little bit and like squashed and stretched. Maybe that's not how it's actually done, but that's kind of what it feels like. It kind of feels like it is kind of, and I don't want to say this, right? But I have to say this because it's what comes to mind when I think about it. It kind of feels cheap, you know. It kind of feels like a trick, a trick of the visuals to make it seem like there's more animation in the game than there actually is. And when you think that, or when you consider that the rooms all look the same, that there's keypads, cameras, EMP mines, turrets, and a vending machine, and boxes, and like that's the only things that you can interact with, really, you start to kind of, I think, realize that there's not a lot here in this game. There's not a lot of variability. You know, a game like FTL, it has a lot of random encounters, but those random encounters, first of all, they give you a lot of backstory. Each and every one of them gives you a little bit of insight into the personality of the alien races that exist in the game, and how everything in the game kind of just like comes together. But in here, it's just like hack a camera, hack a box. You succeed at the box, you fail at the box, and you know that's fine. You know, I remember in XCOM 2, you would do some hacking, and it's just like hack a lamppost. You either succeed or you fail, but you know, there's only like 3 or 4 hacking attempts per couple of maps usually, and you know, you don't hack every time. In this game, they're throwing them at you as a bit of the gameplay loop. The gameplay loop is you explore and then you fight, and then you explore and then you fight. But neither of it kind of seems that satisfying to me. Now, I'm not a JRPG player. I don't play JRPGs, and I don't necessarily find that type of combat system very, very appealing to me. So maybe that's why this game doesn't really click for me. But maybe it does for you. Maybe you really enjoy JRPGs, or or similar type of games, and maybe you would like something that's a little bit more sci-fi oriented with robots shooting themselves, and hey, that's what this has. I don't really love that the end of combat is basically heal, buff, and then kill the last remaining enemy. I may have mentioned this, I can't remember, but again, in Darkest Dungeon, if there's one enemy remaining, they penalize you for taking too long to kill them. You can get a couple of buffs off, a couple of heals off, but then if you don't kill them, you're going to get debuffed, or you're going to have to fight even more enemies. But in this game, it kind of seems like as long as you leave an encounter with as many buffs as possible, you're going to be in a good position for the next encounter. So why would you not just kill 3 enemies, heal, 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 apply cooling to everyone, and then kill the last remaining enemy so that your next encounter is just that much easier to deal with? I've never really been in a tough position yet in this game. Granted, it's only been like the first couple of levels that I've played a couple of times, but I guess you know, that's my thought on it. That the main gameplay loop is a little, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But maybe this game's for you, and if it is, you can check it out on Steam. I think it's $10 right now. It'll be $15 when it releases at some point in the near future. I think it's mostly content complete and mostly done, so except for bug fixes and maybe a few other additions, don't expect there to be a lot more coming from the game, I believe. But, yeah. That is Robothorium. It's an interesting game. It's definitely it seems like a well put together game. It just feels like there's a lot missing from it for it to be like a full experience. There's a lot of personality that's missing from it. It seems like it's kind of barren a little bit. I don't like that every room is exactly the same minus a bunch of, you know, stuff in it. You know, I imagine that the other areas have different templates and different tile sets and stuff, but I'd still like for there to be a little bit more. You know, it's ironic that I'm complaining about that, because in FTL, literally, you're just looking at your ship the entire time. But I guess in a game like FTL, you have a lot of good writing to keep you interested in it, and that's, I think, is one of that game's primary benefits. Its primary advantage is that it has good writing to kind of keep the story going and to keep you invested in it. Whereas this game, it doesn't have very much writing at all, except for when the characters are on screen talking, which I don't much care for anyways, but just like, I don't really care for that style of just like, you're talking, you're talking, you're talking, you're talking, and then that's it, and then they're done talking. But, you know, in the mission, hack something, just success or failure, thumbs up, thumbs down, and that's like your only feedback from it. But anyways, hey, this is my first time doing this, okay? It's gonna take me a while to put on my professional analysis glasses and to look at these games a little bit more objectively. But that's Robothorium. I have enjoyed my time with it, but this is not a game that I'm going to be coming back to and playing more of, I don't think. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you here for the next Let's Look At.